Welcome to episode 23 of the Library TechCast. Today on the show, we're going to be talking about the Code for Lib conference, which my co-host attended, and I think he had a great time. And we're also going to touch on DSpace for the jump box, and we also are going to slightly touch on a great offer that for our library from OCLC. If you are a First Search subscriber, they have a great offer for you as far as digital repository software. I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Jeffrey Sable. I am an outreach and instruction librarian at the beautiful Concordia University Irvine, located very near Newport Beach. Always great weather and a really beautiful campus. I'll throw it over to my co-host, Riley Childs.
Hello, my name is Riley Childs. I am from the wondrous land of Charlotte, North Carolina, of which some of you may have visited recently for the Code for Lib conference down in Raleigh, our state's capital. But I am a junior at Charlotte United Christian Academy. I am in charge of all their information technology and all their library stuff, and I am genuinely interested in all the library stuff. And I attended Code for Lib recently, and I was surprised to find out I'm the youngest person to ever attend there by 9 years. So, fun fact.
Yeah. What was it before? What was it before?
I don't think they are really keeping count.
Oh, okay.
But you know, whatever, breaking barriers. Quick question: is the video switching for you?
Is it switching
Like when I click your picture, does it switch?
to the big screen?
Yeah.
No.
Do you see a big screen when I talk?
Yeah. You're on the big screen. Your box is black, your little box, and then I can see myself in my little box.
Okay, cool. There's some troubleshooting there. I think I just can't see my big box. 1 second. Bizarre. Okay, let's go ahead and let's get started because I guess it works, but I just don't see a big picture. But yeah. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to get started off with Code for Lib, and I'm looking down at the corner because I'm looking at, yeah, down there. But what we're going to go ahead and get started off with is what exactly was at the conference this year? We told you last week, and we were going to have a show from the conference, but that didn't happen for reasons. But
Well, what was your favorite thing about the conference? All-time favorites.
well, my all-time favorite thing was just meeting all these people. It was really interesting to get to talk to everyone. I mean, that was my favorite thing. But my favorite talk, there was the one at the end on Wednesday about process queues in Python, which I just found really interesting. And then there was also one about the just this absolutely stupidly simple thing that is like, how has no one thought of this? And that was by
Well, what was the thing? What was the thing that was?
sorry, it was by I'm gonna mispronounce his name. I think he just said to call him Dre, so I'm gonna call him Dre. Andreas, yeah, I'm gonna butcher his last name, so I'm not gonna say it. You can look it up on the Code for Lib website. But it's about, he basically, something he had is he had all of these. He had a video repository, and it was basically himself who was creating it. And to access it, he had all of these video files, then he had the Flash player, then he had the template, and then he created just basically a whole bunch of directories with an index.html file in them. So what he did, which I thought was really clever, is he just created an index.php, a PHP script, and used some mod rewrite rules to basically automate that process for him, so he could just drop the video in there, and then when a student browsed to the URL of the video, like let's say the video was called Riley'sDonuts.mp4. I don't know why I said donuts, but when they went to my videos, my video server / Riley's Donuts, the PHP script would pull in all the necessary dependencies and just generate the file. And you can actually watch his presentation, which I think you should, because it can be applied to just more than it's so simple that it can be applied to anything. And I just think that was just kind of, that's the one that stuck in my head for some reason. I don't know why, and I'm sure I'm going to use it. But then everything else. There were some great lightning talks. There was some great stuff about the.
What about the? Did you go to the outing to that library?
I did.
UNC library?
I did. Hunt. If you ever have the opportunity to go to Hunt Library, you should take it. It is the most phenomenal tour. There was also something on, and there was a talk on one of the features that they have in that library that uses WebSockets or peer-to-peer communication. And WebSockets have their own security problems, but that's a completely different podcast. That is not the
that was from the first day, right? Morning.
Yeah.
Okay, the WebSockets.
WebSocket security is not. It's definitely not a first day thing. They're awesome and they're cool, but they're not very secure.
So what was the library like? Did how many floors was it? And
it was 4 floors.
And what do you know how big the student body is about for that college? What is it, like 30,000 or?
There.
Oh yeah, that's right. You had a tour. Forgot about that.
Well, because they have several campuses.
Well, I'm just saying at that campus.
Well, that's mainly the research campus. But specifically at NC State, they have 24,536 undergraduates and 9,473 graduate and professional students. So there you go. There's that little fact.
It's a big school.
Big school. With all the state schools here do a really good job of making the classes really small. So applaud them on that. But moving along, yeah, I mean, it was interesting. You can actually check out an archive of all of this at youtube.com/code4lib. That website again is youtube.com/code4lib. If for some reason you find that there's a part of the conference or that has the sound dropped out of it or something, because we're not 100% sure if every single thing has the sound drop out of it, just let me know and I will see to it that you get a copy with the sound in it and that gets fixed. But yeah, I mean,
day one. I've only watched day one so far, but I mean, you can hear everything pretty clearly. You know.
Some people were saying that you couldn't, but I mean, we'll figure that out.
It's a work in progress.
To get you the video that you need. Enjoy that video content. Okay then, moving along. DSpace, that wonderful content repository. Oh no, we were going to talk about Content DM first and the offer OCLC has.
Oh yeah, so I don't know if it's to everybody or it's by school size, but if you're a First Search customer, go ahead and contact them because they're offering a special where you can get a free access to a hosted version of Content DM with 3,000 digital items and 1 gigabyte of data. Whichever one you reach first would be the max amount. But for really small schools who are First Search, if you're participating in Interlibrary Loan, you probably are already subscribing. And I think it's a fantastic deal to really, if you have, I mean, anything you want to get online, or even to use at really small schools, if you could put all the professors' scholarship on there as well. And I mean, it's completely hosted. Your own school's branding. I mean, it's by far and away probably the easiest way to get an institution online with some sort of repository. That
sounds pretty cool. I mean, if never become First Search customers, which I don't think I'm ever going to have the budget for.
But
Check that out.
most universities or colleges, I mean, even the smaller,
Yeah.
even some small seminaries,
Oh, yeah.
you know, they participate in that just to, you know, be able to share books between libraries, which is always
Oh yeah. I
beneficial.
mean, I'm just saying, I'm a small. We're a small
Right.
Christian K-12. That $600 fee will not out of reach is not in the budget.
Well,
I
do you
guess.
guys have archives at your school?
We would like to be able. I would like to be able to have First Search, and I would like to be able to archive some of our seniors' work because they're all of them. We had to take a ton of pictures, and it would be
Yeah.
nice to be able to.
Yeah.
We have a strong photography program, and it would be nice to be able to have all those pictures archived and some.
Right. Right.
I would definitely pay for. Well, we would move to DSpace first, but I mean, then there's like papers and stuff, and there's like legit stuff that's submitted. But it would be nice to have something like that. I mean, even if you don't really archive, there's always those things, those important documents. It's nice to have somewhere. But yeah. But Jeff, so you have been working on something pretty neat. Your DSpace jump box. What
Yeah.
exactly?
Well, so it's just a regular DSpace. So instead of installing all the working parts, you know, your Apache server, or Tomcat, or MySQL, or Solar, it comes all packaged from Jumpbox, and you just install that on a virtual server, and you know, it's all configured, so you don't really have to worry about, or you don't have to have expertise, I guess, in those in that realm of server side programs, and then you just throw it on there, and I mean it's been pretty easy to do, and this is, you know, I mean, I have a limited background in anything server side.
And what is like so as far as
So once we set up the LDAP, which you're kindly helping with,
yeah.
we're going to expose it to the internet. So we'll have a normal URL. It'll probably be like, you know, CUI.library/something. And, you know, once we're on there, we're going to start adding pictures. Like I said, we're digitizing video. I think we actually decided we're going to put them both on YouTube and at archive.org,
Good
just to have
option.
them in, yeah, put them as many places as we can. And I mean, these are mostly either chapel sessions or talks from people that had visited in the past, or graduations. There is some stuff that's maybe a little sensitive because we're such a young school. That most of the founders did do participate in an oral history project, so we have all that, but some of it's not supposed to be released for, you know, X number of years after they depart the earth. So
Oh.
some of that's going to be held back. That's just the way they set it up, just so they could get really honest answers to, you know, how Concordia University Irvine really came about. And I mean, you know, just think if you had audio recordings of the founding members of Harvard, you know, or I mean any school really. I mean, I think it's really something special that we have now.
Yeah, I was talking to some guys from Princeton. That's who I had my dinner at the conference with, and I guess it's not all that bizarre. My dinner, the newbie dinner with, at the Pit in Raleigh. But something that they were talking about is that at Princeton, they have like, since they're a private university, their part of their charter says that all the documents from the deans and the headmaster's office can't be released until 75 years after they leave.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
Like, it's all sent to this data center that's like underground, and apparently they did it right and all this stuff. And
oh, it just seems like 75 years. You figure like any kind of dean at Princeton, I mean, you're going to be at least in your late 40s, you know, probably more like late 50s. And I mean, how long do they think these people are going to live, you know? I mean, I'd say like 25 years, maybe. Oh man, I lost I lost sound, everything. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. No, I can't hear. I can't.
Oh wait, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that was on my end. I bumped my mute button. Um, but so about the jump box, how exactly did that work?
Oh, it's. I mean, you can install it on your desktop if you just use VMware.
Uh-huh.
So I'm not. The IT is the one who installed it on the server, but I'm sure they just installed. I mean, I think we have an application to the VMware, like actual whatever
Oh yeah, okay, so it's a
industry
virtual machine
application.
image.
Right. Yeah. 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 And so they just throw it on there. You click, start, and you say what program you want to load, and if you just I mean, it's basically you just run a file in Jumpbox, and it starts it, and then you have an admin interface, which is nice, so you don't really have to go in there and
Mm.
restart Tomcat. Like, I mean, there's a lot of
The jump box has built-in admin and stuff.
right, yeah, yeah. There's a web interface where you can restart it and all that stuff. And I mean, if you look at some of the documentation, or if you get on the listserv for DSpace, which is extremely interesting, and you always learn a lot from that. But there's a lot of tasks where you need to restart that stuff, and I mean, it works for a small school, or if you have limited um, submitters, or you have limited people to manage. Because I mean, DSpace was really meant for universities where each department submits every paper that a professor writes or authors or participates in research on, should upload it to the institutional repository, so they're not double paying for this type of research where they then have to go and buy it from a journal.
Hmm.
We're using it slightly different, we're not using it to its full capability. So I think Jumpbox would work. I actually haven't put out the the question to the listserv, like what are the downsides, and I'm sure there's many. But I mean, we're basically using it for images, to store URLs, to link out to videos, and PDF theses and final projects of masters of education students. So I mean, it's pretty
Neat.
limited. You figure we're going to have JPEG and PDF, and that's it. I mean, those are the two. But I mean, you could have TIFF. You could have. It has the e-reader capability. So if you're uploading EPUB articles or books, you have that. There's art schools that use it where they have super high res images, where they sort of reconfigure it to really, for that purpose. But we're sort of keeping it somewhat generic. We're going to put our branding on there, and not really change too much stuff.
So who would you recommend the jump box to?
I mean, if you don't have IT support, and you're not capable configuring a Tomcat servlet, then I mean, I would say it's for you. I mean, at least to give it a try. And once you become more comfortable, you can migrate your data from. I mean, there may come a day where we migrate our data to actual installation.
Yeah, and this is like a stepping stone, I'm sure.
Right, right, yeah. And I mean, the more I become comfortable with DSpace, and the more I start messing around with Apache type server stuff, um, the more I'll feel like, oh, I can actually maintain this, and it's not gonna overwhelm me. And I mean, most places do have a department, or at least a dedicated person that's sort of managing that sort of stuff. But I mean, I have in class instruction, I'm at the reference desk. I have easy proxy to do. So I mean, we're a lean staff, but um, we don't want anything to, like, I mean, that stuff comes first, essentially.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I mean, it's when it's down on the list that low, sometimes it's hard to find time. And of
To
course,
learn. And it's just simply it's throw it up there and configure it, more or
right,
less.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
more, yeah, yeah.
So, and I'm just gonna ask you questions. So you were having easy proxy woes earlier. What exactly were those? So I'm just kind of curious.
Oh, I mean, no, they were just. I mean, the easy proxy stuff was just that it had never been configured before. I mean, we had databases that were never their entries weren't added or they weren't updated, and so we would get someone would go with us to go on to the chat site and say, hey, I can't get on database X, and then I would have to sort of work my way back and say, well, what's wrong? And I mean, it's basically
They were
just
never. They just never configured for it.
right, right.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just never brought to their attention. And some were newer. I mean, every time we get a new database, you have to go and put in the configure file easy proxy. And I mean, for me, I have to relay that to IT, and then I also have to make sure I have to go into the admin interface of that database or database hosting company and put in our IP range. I mean, that's basically it. But you have to continually check these things because if something changes and students don't have access, I mean, we're failing in our mission.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and more than maybe some of them were originally configured, but I mean, it's a constant. At least monthly, you have to either use. I mean, at work, I use the Tor browser to check from off campus.
Mm-hmm.
Which is easy, but I mean, you constantly have to stay up on this stuff. And I mean, before I was there, there was nobody in my position. It didn't exist. So I mean, they had less people than we have actually right now, which I mean, even now we're pretty full on what we have to do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're okay. I mean, it's just a matter of being stretched too thin, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean that, and I mean it's just when you get around to it, you get around to it, and I mean I haven't even been there a year yet, so I mean once we sort of iron out these things, we should be I mean it's already working well, you
Yeah.
know. And I mean that's what you're going to experience. I mean if if you're employed in a small school, we have 5 librarians, not like, and that's the staff, besides student assistants. The law school I worked at before, there was 30 total staff with I think 15 or 10, maybe 12 actual librarians, and then there's that support staff that are full time that are supporting them. That's a big difference when you cut that to more than it's like almost a fifth. And you still have to I mean, you still have the catalog. Just because you have a smaller school doesn't mean that takes any less time.
Oh yeah, because is the library still about the same size?
No, the law school's a little bigger, I would say. But I mean, typically, because our it was built in the 70s and it really hasn't been
Oh.
expanded or modified that much. But I mean, it's only 2 floors. I mean, it's similar but not quite. There's a lot more study space, I guess, in the law library.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, lawyers, or I should say law students, are sort of more studious than typical undergrads.
Wow. It's an interesting. I mean, so yeah. Cool. Coolio. Well, is there anything else you want to just kind of touch on, or any other stuff you've had going on throughout the week, or that you've talked about?
No, that's pretty much it. Went out and did a lot of teaching, and we're still pushing for more online instruction. I think it's mental to be driving in the LA freeways. I mean, you figure if you drive out to do a class at 10 of a 45-minute instruction session and these are the basics on how to use the database, how to log in and complete an interlibrary loan, how to find out if we have a full text journal. I mean, most of that stuff can be done online, and you figure you're doing 3 hours for 10 students when you could just from your desk, it's 45 minutes, wham bam, they get the information, everybody's happy.
How's
So
your
I mean, if anybody has idea, what's that?
I was gonna ask how your COA. How was your process with COA? Are you still?
There's nothing committed yet. So actually, me and the part-time cataloging librarian, he's going to get a server, and we're going to install it on there. and see like how hard is it to like migrate and mess around with it. This is more, like a hobby, but yeah,
Oh, it's easy. It's easy. If you have any questions, I wrote a script to export Mark records from my iOS. If you can export Mark, it's super easy.
Yeah, you can for sure.
Well, yeah. If you have any questions, let me know.
Yeah, but we're just messing around with that. So who knows? We may we're looking at a whole bunch of different ones right now, and there's no decisions made. So I mean, and it's not my decision ultimately. It's
Yeah.
it's people beyond me. So I mean, yeah, they're looking at everything as far as staying with the people we're with, or moving to OCLC, or going with something open source. So who knows at this point?
Well, thank you for joining it. Thank everyone. Thank you for coming along on the magical ride that is the Library TechCast. Anything else, Jeff? Just before we start our slow descent into the wrap up.
No, nothing for me.
Okay. Well, as the magical ride comes to the end, we would just like to remind you that we can be found on YouTube, Twitter. I'm going to stop saying Facebook. And of course our website. Starting with our website. Our website is librarytechcast.com. There's also a wiki on there that is still filled with spam. So ignore that. There is just ignore all the articles for Ben's medication. So just ignore that and feel free to check it out. Help us out. Update it. You can find us on Twitter, of course, twitter.com/librarytechcast. You can also find us on YouTube, youtube.com/librarytechcast. And as a side note, you can also find all of the Code for Lib 2014 conference archive videos on youtube.com/code4lib. And I think there's actually a link in our sidebar to them on youtube.com. But that's just a side note. And where you can find me if you're watching the video, of course, on Twitter at @rowdychildren. You can find me on my website, rileychilds.net, where I blog about libraries and technologies and information technologies that apply to librarians, and everything else like that. This is Riley Childs reminding you that you have 10 days before Windows XP goes end of life. What is your plan? So, now on to Jeff.
So I'm Jeff Sable. You can find me at LA Libraryman, or at my website, Jeffrey Stephen Sable. That's with a ph.org. See my adventure page. I will be updating that very soon. And I will be attending the American Theological Library Association in New Orleans this summer. So if you are a watcher of the show and you're planning on attending that, I'd love to meet you and chat. So come by and say hi. That's it for me.
Well, awesome. Once again, you have 10 days left before Windows XP goes end of life. Are you on Windows 7? Check amirunningxp.com if you are not sure. Okay, for the Library TechCast, I'm Riley Childs.
I'm Jeff Sable.
Awesome. This is taking a really long time to stop. We were all ready to finish. So this is going to cut us off in mid-sentence. We can just kind of... There we go.
No, mine still says live.
Oh no, failed to stop broadcasting. What? No. No, that doesn't happen. You can fail to start broadcasting.
We'll have to stay on forever.
What? What do you mean there are no live events scheduled? Oh, there we go. Live now. Hang out on air. Oh. I did say that it can't stop. Okay. So let's try this just one more time. Okay, let's go through this. For the Library TechCast, I'm Riley Childs.
I'm Jeff Sable.
It's broken. It's horribly broken. This is bad. This is bad. Man. How are we going to stop it? How can it fail to stop broadcasting?
You probably just have to close the window, right?
No, when I close the window, it just puts up a slide that says error. So, while we're waiting for this to stop broadcasting, I just want to remind everyone that we are actively seeking guests. So, come on. And we don't bite. We can't. We are... Yeah, we don't bite. Don't worry about us. We won't hurt you. So email us, Riley@librarytechcast.com, or actually info@librarytechcast.com, because that one goes to both me and Jeff. And if you have any comments, you can also email us there. For the Library TechCast, I'm Riley Childs. Jeffrey Sable has disappeared. I'm going to try to stop the